Hello everyone and welcome back to the IS Network lecture series on discussing case studies. So till now in the previous lectures we have discussed one case study each from year 2013, 14, 15 and 16. So today we'll be discussing one of the ethics case study from year 2017 asked by UPSC. So this is another classical case of dilemma between your personal interest and your professional interest. So I will take you through this case study and we'll discuss how to approach these kind of cases. So let's begin. So you are the manager of a spare parts company A and you have to negotiate a deal with the manager of a large manufacturing company B. The deal is highly competitive and sealing the deal is critical for your company. So the deal is being worked out over a dinner. After dinner, the manager of manufacturing company B offers to drop you to the hotel in the car. On the way to the hotel, he happens to hit a motorcycle, injuring the motorcyclist badly. You know the manager was driving fast and thus lost control. The law enforcement officer comes to investigate the issue and you are the sole eyewitness to it. So knowing the strict laws pertaining to the road accident, you are aware that your honest account of the incident would lead to the prosecution of the manager and as a consequence the deal is likely to be jeopardized, which is immense importance to your company. So basically this case is explaining you a scenario where something of importance to your professional competence or for example for your company, so your profits of the company are at loggerheads with your personal integrity, your personal command of doing justice to the family as well as the motorcyclist. However, it has some consequences that if you speak the truth, it is very much likely that the deal would not go through. So the question is asking what are the dilemmas that you face and what will be your response to this situation. So now let's try and answer this question. So you can begin this case study by basically analyzing either the stakeholders or even the issues at the hand. So your introduction could be through multiple ways. For example, you can pinpoint the stakeholders in the case and their interests. Similarly, you can directly begin with the ethical dilemmas as well. Or you can even give the ethical mapping in the case, which is basically the guiding principles behind your decision. Or another way to introduce this kind of a case study could be some facts related to road accidents in India. So you can very easily say that more than 1.5 lakh people lose their lives in road accidents in India per year, and the primary reason for this is overspeeding. So you can basically draw the attention towards the gravity of the situation through stating some facts, etc. So these are the multiple ways through which you can basically start the case. So your ethical mapping, so because we have done various fact based introduction as well as ethical dilemma based of introduction, stakeholder type as well. So now we'll see the ethical mapping kind of an introduction. So ethical mapping basically shows the which all values or which all decision parameters would you take into consideration in order to reach the decision. So your ethical mapping could be your social justice, personal integrity, profitability of the firm. Being a responsible citizen. Rule of law. So all these could be the deciding parameters for taking the action. So you can give the ethical mapping. So these would be the parameters on the basis of which you will take your decision. So this is another way of introducing your case study. Now let's come to the core question, which is basically what are the ethical dilemmas? As we all know that ethical dilemma is nothing but values at conflict. So we must be sure that what we are writing are basically two values. So values are generally positive in the sense. So it's not a competition between a positive and a negative term. So both the values should be positive. So there needs to be a competition or basically two values being at conflict with each other. So now let's try and figure out some ethical dilemmas in the case. So one of the major ethical dilemma is basically profitability of the firm versus justice for the victim. So justice is a positive value as well as profitability. So these are two positive values at conflict with each other. Similarly, you'll have loyalty to the firm, because if you tell the truth, in this case your loyalty towards the firm is questionable in the sense that you are not working for the profitability of the company. You might lose the chance to getting the deal through. Versus integrity or truth. Similarly, if the deal does not go through, it might have an impact on your professional as well as personal well-being, because it would lead to basically you might not be promoted because of not getting through the deal, not going through, and it might lead to some repercussions that your negative image might be portrayed in the professional sphere as well. So your professional well-being is at conflict with your conscience. But if you do not tell the truth, it might be possible that your conscience keeps on haunting you. Similarly, your egoism is at conflict with altruism. So whether you should be looking after your own interest or you should be even looking after the interest of the whole society. So these are the various ethical dilemmas in this case. Now, what would be the response is the second question. So response has two things. It is basically your reaction to the scenario plus your course of action. So given the person is coming to ask you for your so the law enforcement agency has reached you for your basically precept of the scenario. So now you need to give your response to this situation. So the adequate response would be basically to tell the truth. But what are the reasons behind this? Because you need to justify your stance, because there are costs associated with telling the truth as well as not telling the truth. So if you're telling the truth, there needs to be certain reasons for why you are ready to take the personal risk or the personal well-being which is at the other end of the story. So you can argue this through the multiple schools of ethics that you have. So you can say that virtue ethics dictates that if I do not tell the truth, I would become what kind of human I would become. So my character would be at question. So what kind of person I would become. It can even lead to a crisis of conscience kind of a situation. Because if I do not tell the truth, it might lead to be an internal dissonance in my personality, which might lead to my overall deterioration of health as well as mental well-being. Similarly, your Gandhi's talisman could be used to justify your stance as well. Because Gandhi's talisman basically says that one must act in the way which benefits the least privileged person. So if you are not telling the truth, it would lead to injustice to the person who has become victim. So basically you should work in the interest of the last person in the row. So Gandhi's talisman also dictates that it would be correct to basically tell the truth. Similarly, your John Rawls theory of justice basically dictates that telling the truth would ensure that the benefits and the cost of the act are basically correctly distributed. Otherwise, all the benefits would be garnered by the manager of the company B, whereas all the cost would be borne by the victim. So it is in my own interest in order to cooperate with the authority. And we must see that even from the Kant's categorical imperative, as well as the universality principle, it can be argued that it is my duty in order to help the law enforcement agencies, because if not telling the truth is universalized, it might lead to the complete anarchy, that no one is going to follow the traffic rules or drive safely, and without the participation of the civil society or informed citizens like me, it would not be possible for the state to enforce the law in the society, and thus leading to in a state of anarchy. So your cooperation of citizen is paramount, and the reason for this, you can even quote that the Good Samaritan law concept basically dictates that the one should help any person who is in distress in these kind of situation. And you can even argue this from the Confucius golden rule, that is, don't do unto others as you won't like to be done by. So basically, if you should put yourself in the victim's shoes and see that if you are the victim of such an accident, what would you be wanting from the other person? If everyone starts doing the same thing, it would lead that no one gets justice in this scenario. So you can, through these multiple ethical theories, you can justify your stance. Similarly, now you need to conclude in terms of that what would be your course of action. So telling the truth, there needs to be something other to be done as well. So you need to convince your company in terms of your decision. You need to persuade them that this is the right thing to do. You should even convince Mr. B to accept his fault. When you are convincing the company, you should raise multiple points, that it should raise the integrity or trust in you, because integrity is a wholesome concept. A person who is integral in his personal affairs is also integral in the professional spheres. So it should basically raise their confidence in you, that you are an ethical person and they can trust you with responsibility in the management domain as well. And even if they are not convinced and you face some repercussions, you should be willing to accept them. Because you must be familiar with the Gandhian concept even regarding Satyagraha. What Gandhiji says about Satyagraha is that one must insist on the truth and be ready to face the challenges that come along with it. So you must be ready to accept the negative repercussions that come with standing by the truth. Standing by the truth is never easy, and no one said it is supposed to be easy. So it takes the moral courage and fortitude on this part of a person to stick to the path of integrity and truthfulness. And you should be willing to accept for the reason that you were also at some fault. Reason being that you were aware that the manager was overspeeding. However, you still allowed that in that scenario. So you should have taken active steps to change the behavior of that manager B. You should have asked him to drive slow and try to convince him to drive within the speed limits and carefully, so that this accident could have been avoided in the first place. So you are also at some degree of fault. Thus you should be willing to accept the negative repercussions that come along with it. So like this, you can argue your case in the given case study. So we have discussed through this case study that one new approach which is of introduction, that is ethical mapping. So because to argue our case, we took social justice into consideration through your John Rawls theory, personal integrity through the voice of the conscience, profitability of the firm was another consideration, and that's why you are trying to convince the company in the end as well in order to accept your stance. Responsible citizen, you are playing the role through basically supporting the and helping out the enforcement agency. Rule of law, you are respecting, because unless you do not play the role of a good Samaritan, it might lead to a state of anarchy, which has been argued through your universality principle of John Rawls. So we discussed the various ethical dilemmas in this case and the response. So as we have discussed in the initial lecture itself, that the case study is more about the reasoning of an action rather than the action itself. So we have tried to incorporate multiple theories within this case study. We have used virtue ethics, we have used Kantian ethics, we have used John Rawls theory, Gandhi's talisman, as well as Confucius' golden principle. So we have argued the same decision from multiple standpoints. This shows that you are not a rigid person who applies one theory through all the decisions that you make. You are a flexible person who has the breadth of knowledge as well as ethical flexibility in terms of the situation demanding so, and then a course of action taking the onus of some degree of mistake that you have also done. That is also a positive sign. So like this, you can answer the case study. So that's all from this lecture, and I'll meet you in the next lecture with a case study from year 2018. And if you want to avail some benefits of mains answer writing evaluation, you can visit the website of IS Network. Thank you.